أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه وولاه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, we continue inshallah with our the explanation of our book, which is الطب الروحاني by الإمام ابن الجوزي رحمه الله تعالى. And the last time we talked about the taking care of oneself or exercising or training one's soul with ease and graduality. With ease and graduality by ترغيب وترهيب, like persuasion and fear, what you like, what you dislike, to introduce what one's like about Allah Azza wa Jalla, of course, about the Jannah, about the hereafter, what you like. That's targhib. I want the Jannah, I want the forgiveness of Allah, I want the enjoyment, I want the easy hisab, all of that. And I'm afraid of the punishment of Allah, I'm afraid of the anger of Allah, I'm afraid of the Jahannam, I'm afraid of the long hisab and all of that. So that's targhib wa tarhib. Also by helping oneself by being in the company of good people and wise people and listening and reading the biographies of the pious and the righteous. Yeah, the pious and the righteous. Also, by thinking about one's life, current life, what about one's future, how you'd like your life to end. Read the biographies of the guided predecessors and all of that. We talked about a couple of examples also, how you take yourself, how one of the guided predecessors would train himself to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla, and that causes a struggle and hardship. Then after that it becomes ease and enjoyment. وابن الجوزي said واعلم أن قدر النفس عند الله سبحانه وتعالى أعظم أن قدر النفس أعظم من قدر العبادات، ولهذا أباح الفطر للمسافر، وإنما يعقل هذا العلماء. Said there is a subtle meaning here that only scholars would get and will understand, which is that for Allah Azza wa Jal, you are more valuable than the worship itself. Your nafs, as a human soul, you are more valuable, you are more kareem to Allah Azza wa Jal, you are more honorable to Allah than the worship itself. You are more important than the salah. Yeah, some of you said, what? I'm more important than the salah and the fasting? Yes. You are more important to Allah than the Kaaba itself. You are more sacred to Allah than the building of the Kaaba. That's not my statement, that's the statement of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. ما أعظمك وما أبهاك يعني والذي نفسي بيده لحرمة المؤمن عند الله أشد حرمة منك أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. The sacredness and sanctity of the Muslim for Allah is more than your sanctity and sacredness. Rasul was talking to the Kaaba. Yeah. Allah Azza wa Jal said killing one soul is like all humanity. Prayer is to get you closer to Allah. So how prayer would be more important than a slave of Allah who's sincere to Allah? Huh? So the importance of prayer is to get you closer to Allah. So prayer cannot be dearer to Allah than you. That's why when you are traveling, Allah said you shorten the prayer for your own comfort. If you are sick, Allah said you do not fast. You see, you are more important than the ibadah of the fasting to Allah. You are more important than, and that meaning only those who are fortunate and those souls are close to Allah will understand that. Only those will understand this kind of meaning. So you can understand. It does not belittle the salah. Actually, you feel so happy that you are in that status with Rabb al-Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then salah becomes very easy on you. Then sadaqah becomes very easy on you. The recitation of Quran becomes very easy on you. Am I that dear to Allah Azza wa Jal? Am I that close to Allah Azza wa Jal? Am I that important to Allah Azza wa Jal? Then you know that salah gets you closer to Allah. Then salah is not hard on you anymore. Then the ibadah is not that heavy on you anymore. I hope that meaning is clear. It's very touching, but sometimes we look at those things, ibadat, as duties, as weight on our shoulders, as tasks that we need to get over with, not realizing our own importance to Allah Azza wa Jal, how dear we are to Allah, how close we are, how close we should be, how happy Allah Azza wa Jal with us when we get closer to Him. And that makes you very light, like you're walking on clouds now. And then, if the time of Salah comes, you kind of like, yes, Allah, I'm coming. It's like, someone that you love so much and he's calling your name. Said, yes, dear, yes, honey, I'm coming. I cannot be late. When you are invited to sadaqah, you are going to rush to it without delay. When you have some time, you're going to do dhikr. When you see a mushaf in front of you, rush to it and you want to recite. You want to do good. You want to be good. You want it to be that one that Allah is proud of, like a child wants their parents to be proud of. Of course, that's what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that no people gather in the house of Allah, remembering the words of Allah, the book of Allah, and they are studying it among themselves. ما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه بينهم إلا, except what is going to happen to those who gather in the masjid and reciting the Quran and studying it, إلا حفتهم الملائكة, the angels will surround them. ونزلت وغشيتهم الرحمة, and the mercy will cover them. Angels surround them, mercy will cover them. ونزلت عليهم السكينة, and the tranquility will descend upon them. Angels surrounding them, mercy covering them, the tranquility descend upon their hearts. وذكرهم الله في من عنده, Allah Azza wa Jalla becomes proud of them in front of His angels. So then the meaning of worship will be completely different. You see, that's the riyada of nafs. This is the training. You go to the gym for the first time, or you exercise for the first time, you become sore, your muscles are sore, you're tired, you don't want to do it again, and you are like, oh, what did I do to myself? After a while, when your body becomes stoned, you cannot actually rest without doing the exercise. Actually, you become sick and you won't exercise because you don't want to become sick. And we wonder, like, how come, people who are very old and they're exercising, a woman who's pregnant in her ninth month and she's exercising, and the people, why? They reach to that level of love and connection with that exercise, physical exercise. They cannot be comfortable without exerting that physical effort. A physical effort that makes people exhausted. They become exhausted if they don't do it. You see? People cannot sleep well if they don't do tahajjud. It is the other way around. Like, people will not be fulfilled except when they fast. Ajib. People will not rest and enjoy life except if they go to Hajj and struggle and in the crowd. People will not feel the barakah of time except when they are so busy with the dhikr of Allah. I want you to reflect on those things. Please reflect on them. Reflect on that. That is the true riyadat al-nafs. That is a true exercise or spiritual exercise. And that is the level that you are looking for. That is the exact level that you're looking for when you enjoy what everybody else is struggling with. when those things become part of you and enjoyable, when this physical exhaustion and pain become something that you are enjoying for Allah's sake. Everybody wants to live, but people go fight for the sake of Allah to die. People enjoy to rest, but those people who enjoy to wake up. People enjoy to spend their time lazy, those who are active all the time for the sake of Allah. Those who read nonsense, these are the ones who are reading Quran. Those who repeat songs, those are the ones who are repeating the dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal. Those who are very selfish, and those who are dedicating their life for others, helping them financially or emotionally or physically or educationally, doesn't matter, but you're helping somebody. It's about others. It's not about themselves. So normally you get out of that mainstream human being to a slave of Allah kind of human being. Now, how you train your children. ذكر رياضة الأولاد. رياضة يعني exercise, we said, training or taming someone or preparing someone properly. So Ibn al-Jawzi is not going to go with us step by step, but he's giving us the guidelines, he's giving us the big picture, he's giving us the concept. And he said that the best thing is when you're young. Then when the tree becomes tall and thick, it's very hard to straighten a crooked branch. It's very hard now. It's very hard when the branch becomes thick. So that's why when the tree is young, they put like some sticks, they put some ropes, and they want it to grow in a certain way. Even the IVs, they want it to go certain ways. They direct it with threads and ropes and wires. Children like that. And then continuity. Then the continuity. Even if the kids are like saying, "I'm tired," and don't take that literally. When they say I'm tired, that means I don't want to continue doing what I'm doing. It's not like they're not able to. That's why you put them in an activity which is harder than what they're complaining from, and they will do it with ease and they will laugh at it. You take them to the park or something like that, they will play. They'll play basketball, they will play for hours. They will not even sleep. But when you tell them, read Quran or do prayer or something like that, it's not dear to the human self. So if they complain out of pain and everything like that, don't. I'm bored, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Just push it more, as long as you know that they can take it. But not to the level of them hating it also. You have to balance yourself. So you have to understand the ins and outs of you have to understand your circumstances. You have to understand your child's good and bad, your child's privileges and disadvantages, assets and liabilities. You have to understand all of those. So when you advise them or when you guide them, it's customized. The plan is customized. And you'll see from young age what are the skills of your child. Do they analytical mind? Do they memorize more? They repeat stuff, so they learn through repetition, they learn through analysis, they learn through reasoning. Like, what are they? And you will know that they are like harsh, they are soft, and you have to work with what you have. You have to know that your child is an amana from Allah Azza wa Jal, trust. And as you protect the amana of someone, if I give you a jewel or I give you like an expensive item and I said, keep it with you until I come back or until I take it back from you, you don't want to use it as if it is yours, because it's an amana, trust. You don't want to humiliate it. You don't want anybody to steal it or touch it or scratch it or anything like that. So your child is amana from Allah Azza wa Jal. that you will leave it or it will leave you one day. So you have to keep it away from any abuse by bad company. Always send your children to good. Surround them by goodness, by good people. Their heart is empty. So you have to be careful who's filling it. That's why we say, like if you talk with your children, you know what you're saying and what they're listening. But if you leave them to someone else, you do not know what they're saying and what your children are listening to. You do not know when you leave them to the TV or the iPad or the phone, what they are exposed to. You don't know. Also, you have to introduce good characteristics to them. When you find that they are bold, tell them that there is need some haya, some modesty and shyness. When you find that they are over introvert and all of that, try to get them to talk more. So you have to balance whatever they have as extreme. You have to balance it. Ibn Jawzi said that, make your, children, boys, dress in white. Why? It's the culture, because when the older people dress in white, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he liked white color for men. So Ibn Jawzi is saying, make them feel like an adult. I remember when I was young, and my dad, whenever he makes his thawb or his clothing, he will make for us, me and my two brothers, like him, dress like him, the hat and the jubba or the thawb. They go to Jum'ah and the masjid like that. So train them to look up to that. Teach them generosity and sharing. And he said that if they ask you for other things, tell them that, Ibn Jawzi said, if they ask you for colorful clothing, tell them this is the clothes for women and for the men who act like women. I'm not taking this literally, but Ibn al-Jawzi is talking about a culture. So now when your children, your boys said, I want to cut my hair like this, or I want to do my hair like that, I said, no, this is not us. Those are the people, the disbelievers or the celebrity singers or artists or anything like that. We're not going to imitate those in the way they dress or the way they act or the way they drink or the way they put accessories or the way they do their hair. Not supposed to be like that. You have to teach them that they cannot just take those as their role models and inspiration and a source of inspiration. And even he says that tell them the stories of the pious and righteous. Let them avoid ash'arul ghazal, the love songs, love poetry. As we are telling them now, don't listen to this rock and roll, music, and listen to such and such. في الباب منه. في الباب. So we have to, what Ibn al-Jawzi is saying, at his culture, at his time, make them avoid whatever is corruption or whatever is the culture of the non-pious and non-righteous, of those who are known for this, their corruption, or those who are known for their bad morals or immorality. Avoid that. Instead, listen to the songs or the poetry of bravery, religious poetry, madh of the Prophet, and those things. Also, when they make mistake, don't always be on their case. I find some parents always criticizing their children when it is needed and when it is not needed, until it becomes a point of actually abusing them emotionally, until it comes to the point that they're bullying their own children, subhanAllah, without them knowing. I'm not saying that the parents, fathers or mothers there are aware of what they're doing. Sometimes because from inside they want their children to become perfect, but instead of helping them toward perfection, they are highlighting and magnifying their defects. You see? So it's like identifying the problem and that's it. Imagine you go to the doctor and the doctor said, oh, you have this list of diseases. Bye-bye. Go. Okay, so what should I do? Like what is it? How should I prevent it? How should I deal with what I have? What is the medication? No, there's no medication. I just like to point out your diseases and problems. That's my job. Can you imagine if the doctor is like that? How would you feel about yourself? Sometimes parents become like that. They find their child is like, hyper, and they keep criticizing and they keep pointing that out. Oh, you are like shaitan, or you are like a jinn, or why you are jumping up and down like that, why you are like this. Every time says, sit down, don't do this and don't move. Always like they are pointing out their problem instead of helping them out, calming them down, creating some activities to calm them down, smiling, being patient, one time harsh, one time easy, one time laughing, one time that, until you balance that. And on the other side, if the child is lazy, for example, or lethargic or slow, some children are physically slow or emotionally slow. They are not sharp. Mm. They're intelligent but not sharp. So they take their time in doing things. You say, oh, you are always lazy, or you are always lethargic, or you're always down, or you are like a sloth, or you are like that. And when somebody comes and says, oh, he is like this, or she is like that, that is very destructive. On the long run, kids can commit suicide out of this, or they can leave the whole religion. Trust me, I know. Your children can leave the religion. If they don't hurt themselves physically, they will leave the religion. Sometimes children, they hurt themselves, they cut themselves, in their legs or their thighs or places that it is hidden. They'll start having a blade, or and they'll cut themselves. They feel guilty. They feel they don't deserve to be handsome or pretty if it's girls, or they don't. They are by default they are bad, so they feel like they're like that, or they eat a lot, or they don't eat at all. Some kids, they starve themselves and they become, anemic, and they become sick, and they have bad bones because their parents or their siblings are always identifying and magnifying their problems. And some would eat their way into it until they become obese and they will die. So be careful, right? Rasul Sallallahu told us, don't make dua against your children. So dua against your children means you want them to be hurt, whether intentionally or unintentionally, whether, you did it, knowing what you're doing or not knowing what you're doing, knowingly or unknowingly, still it will bring harm. So same thing, if the Prophet told us not to make dua, so don't also attack them verbally. So be careful, be extremely careful, sisters, extremely careful. I'm telling you from experience, the community around me and all of that, be extremely careful. You are shaping the mind of your child without even knowing it. While you love them, yes, we know you love them. You'll give your life if one of them gets hurt. We know that. There's no doubt about it. But sometimes we take our anger on our children. We don't like the way they behave, and we actually push them to do what we dislike even more. So hold yourself. They're not your enemies. Hold yourself. Allah is the one who gave you this amana. Some of the kids are happy, some of the kids are a little bit sad, some of the kids are hyper, some of the kids are lazy, some of the kids are sharp, some of the kids are not so sharp, some of the kids are slow, some of the kids are fast. So always, you're not going to have the perfect child. Like you're not the perfect father or mother, you're not the perfect parent, but they still love you and they want to be with you. So that's very, very important. Okay. And whenever you want to reprimand them or do something, try to do it alone, not in front of the other siblings. Not in front of other siblings, that you humiliate them or you speak harshly to them. Also, try to moderate, like overeating and oversleeping. Take them to a nutritionist, take them to a doctor. If there are medication that they need, exercise that they need, invest in that. Like you take your kids to tutoring or to math tutoring or science or sports or anything like that. Also, their spiritual well-being is very important. Sign them up for a program or a Sunday school or an afternoon program or a Quran class. Sometimes parents think Quran class, oh, my kids are 6 months, they are not learning anything. Even if they're not learning anything or they're learning very slow, it is very good for them to go and be spiritually elevated, be at the masjid, seeing a sheikh, seeing others, learn some discipline, even when they are sleeping, when they are there. Be happy that your children are part of that program. You know, it is very, very, very important that, you know, that connection is there. The kids have that connection there with the masjid, with the house of Allah, with the Quran, with the book of Allah, you know. So having that commitment is very, very important. They need to go camping sometimes. They need to learn how to live a tough life sometimes. Don't cook like always good food every single day. I agree with your husbands, and that I like that to do that in my house. Sometimes we'll stay for like a week, just eating like vegetable things, you know, lentil soup, salad, like stuff like that. Sometimes like we eat bread and cheese and all of these kind of things. You don't have to cook every day chicken or fish or meat or this or that. This ni'mah of Allah Azza wa Jalla, we have to value it even more. So sometimes you have to make it hard. It's not because you don't have money or you're not able. No, you're able at everything, but you have to change these things. That's why I advise if you can do camping once or twice a year, like one time in the cold weather, one time in the hot weather, it is good for the children. You know, it's good to live the life of hardship. يعني and I'm talking about real camping or hiking or something like that. Make it tough for your children. Sometimes you don't give them everything that they want. Latest phone, latest iPad, latest shoes, latest no. Sometimes, you know, they have to struggle a little bit. They have to struggle. I know as parents, sometimes we want to give our children everything, but no, believe me, sometimes they have to know you're not going to get another shoes. You have to clean your shoes, put it in the washer, you know, clean it, brush it, you know, iron your own clothes. You have to change your own bed. You know, I want you to cook your own food today if they are like above 10 or something. But we don't have meat and stuff. يعني always try to deprive and give and deprive and give. So then when you give, they know what depriving from something means. Like they cannot have it. So when you give them the fruit, they appreciate it. But if the fruit is always there, they will take a bite and throw it in the trash. But if they know that this fruit does not come easy, then they'll appreciate it when it comes. Okay. Sometimes look, a banana is there and it is overripe. Just throw in the trash. But make them think, yeah, I can make a banana bread or I can make smoothie out of it. It's not rotten, it's not bad, it's not harmful, but we can use it. If the side of the apple or something like that is over ripened, yeah, you can cut it with the knife. And then, you know, I'm not talking about bad things. I'm talking about things that edible, but because they have it in excessiveness, they'll throw things. No, they have to understand that in your plate, you cannot just leave food to be thrown in the trash. So next time, just take 1 cup or half cup and finish it, and then take another one. Appreciate. You do not leave. You know, teach your children that you have to pick those rice, you know, grains one by one. You cannot leave them in the plate like that. It is sunnah to, with a piece of bread or something like that, and clean the plate and eat it. Those are things that we actually sometimes we take it very light, but they go way far than you think. The child learns cleanliness from being clean on a smaller scale. That's why those toys and those things, sometimes I love them, that, you know, they teach the children how to manage the kitchen and how to do the tea for, you know, and how to clean and how to do all of these things. So when you put them in the real deal, they will act the same way. Teach your children, if they are like 5 years and above, take them, ask them to put their clothes in their basket. Ask them to take the basket to the washer and dryer. Go behind them. Tell them, now pick the clothes. Put these colors alone. Put this white alone. Put these dark ones alone. The things that the chemicals and everything, you do it. You put the detergent and everything. But then you tell them, press this button and do that and do this. And when you fold the clothes, tell them you fold this one. Hang it over here in your room. Sometimes we think that, our children, let them study and all of that, and the mother is exhausting herself and doing everything. We say, Alhamdulillah, may Allah reward you. But grab your daughter and let her share with you. Let her be a mother from young age. Train her to be a mother 40 years from today, 30 years from today. Let her be a grandmother like that. You have to, this is coaching, this is mentorship. Allah created you for that, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not to do only the housework, no, but to mentor someone to do the housework in the future. Okay? And the father is the same thing, to teach his son, how to be responsible and how to defend, his mother and his daughter, his sisters, if the father dies or something happens to him. That starts from young age. So these things are good for you physically when you need it. So physical hardship, important for your physical tolerance. Emotional hardship is important for your emotional tolerance. Spiritual and mental hardship, they are important. So when you're going through some emotional issue, of course we don't like it, but it is good for you. What doesn't break you, it makes you stronger. Okay, so it's always, we do that with our children. Tell them to walk, to move. That's why I tell people all the time, like, you have to make some physical time with your children. Walk in the neighborhood, even 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If they have a scooter or they have roller skaters, or they can just walk with you, walk, they put their helmet and everything and walk, or you just walk with them. It doesn't matter what is the weather. Put coat on and say, 7-8 minutes walking. Let's walk in the neighborhood and come back. 2-3 times a week, you do that. If you have access to swimming or you have a swimming pool or something like that, let them jump in it and swim. They do some physical activity at home, stretch up and down, when they wake up in the morning, let them do something. Sometimes you take these things for granted and people come and say, Sheikh, how come my son does prayer is a physical activity, mental activity, and spiritual activity. How much physical activity are you involved with your child? How much of mental activity are you involved with your child? How much of spiritual activity are you involved with your child? And you can't complain to me that, how can I make Salah interesting for them? How do you make any physical activity actually interesting for them? Do you sit and eat with them? Do you talk with them? How many times a day or a week that you read something with them? Of course, whatever you say is not going to be interesting. It's not only about Salah. So people sometimes want to, like what do you call, like a takeaway, look, or a drive-through. I want a burger, and this is a burger place. I drive the car, give me a burger. Here's the money, give me the burger. I eat it. It doesn't matter, good or bad or whatever. Like, I wanted a burger, I got a burger, and that's it. So they want, I want a past child, and I need a past child. So, and Sheikh Mamdouh is the burger place. And it doesn't work like that. I'm not the one who caters like that. I give you, Sheikh, give me some dua so I can find a job. Sheikh, give me some dua so my child like this. Sheikh, my daughter doesn't want to marry the guy that we picked for her. She wants to marry. So give me some dua. Do I have like the remote control for everybody or something? Even Allah himself give people like a choice to do things, But it doesn't work like that. What is your relationship? Like what do you do? Are you yourself interesting to your children? How do you make them interested in anything? We just go and give them customer service only. What do you want, honey? What do you want, baby? Oh, this, okay, I'll give it to you. You're destroying them like that. You teach them how to respect others. When people come to visit you at home, bring your child with you. We always want our children, you go play with other children. Women go sit with the why? Yeah, of course. Okay, women are alone, men are alone. We understand that we are adults. We know our limitations. We know mingling and all that, we know the limits. We get it. But the children, let them sit with you. That's why I say, you know, sometimes whenever we have social events, why you do not all of us sit like we for food, everybody does food at the same time. So why after the food or before the food, you have 10 minutes that all the guests and the host and everybody sit in a big halqa and everybody recite one surah from Juz Amma. It's a good activity. One hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 5 minutes. Wallahi, you will find an hour go by while everybody's enjoying it. Make an Islamic quiz, a competition. Prepare those things at your home. Cards and everything like that. We're going to play a game now, and whoever become the winner today, he's the winner of this party, and will get a prize or something. So people want to visit each other. People want a social life. The children are looking forward, not to our boring social gathering as adults. No, they have something to look for, to look up to, you know? And we are all involved, like the Prophet ﷺ, the children and the men and the women and everybody sitting in the masjid and listening to him. Children, maybe they don't understand every single thing, but they are there. They can, when they go to sit, I was sitting with the Prophet ﷺ. I was looking at his face while he was doing like that. He pointed with his finger while he was giving a speech. They don't remember the speech, but they remember how the Prophet acted and how the Sahaba sat and how the younger respects the elder and how the elder is merciful to the younger and how the women were like in their modest in their dress and their everything, how the men are not looking, how when the Salah finished, the women leave first and then the men leave after that. Those things are what gonna make your children interested in Salah, interested in fasting, good Muslim. That is what it is. It is not like a remote control or a pill that you take and then everybody becomes, mashallah, very good. No. Whenever you see your child having something before, something negative before it becomes ingrained, you have to deal with it as well. طبعا ابن الجوزي talking about corporal punishment, يعني hitting or physical reprimanding punishment. This is in every culture, by the way, even here in the American culture, in the spanking and doing certain things, you know, with physically is allowed. Don't mix the concept of abuse with the concept of instruction. Instructing your children, they have to know that there is some corporal punishment. It is not abuse, it's not animalistic, it is not like horrifying or bruising or injuring or inflicting pain for the sake of it. No. Sometimes something like that needed. So باللطف يعني slowly, and this is the last kind of treatment. قال وإذا رآه عرما أو عرما في صغره فليتلطف به. قال ابن عباس عرامة الصبي زيادة في عقله. عرما يعني شديدا حادا. يعني when you find your child sharp or have a strong personality, then take it easy. Don't try to break them. I see some parents sometimes, they challenge their own children. When they find that the child is mentally stronger than them or intelligent, they want to prove them stupid. I'm sorry to say, yani. Unintentionally. It just happens spontaneously. I see it, you know, like putting them down. When they see the child is very inquisitive, said, why you are impolite and asking too many questions? When they see the child is like, you know, like strong personality, say, why you are arrogant? Don't do that. Like, you know, be easy, take it easy. And I pulled him back, but take it easy. He said, you know what? I like it. I'm proud of you that you can express your opinion, but there are elder people. Elder people should listen until your turn comes, should ask permission to speak. And when you speak politely, speak like that, make your point clear, but also make it polite. Speak slowly, speak, you know, like in a lower voice. That is how you, but you do not tell them don't be like that, especially when they're sharper or stronger. Sometimes you do want to break them. See, some parents, they have this sadistic approach. A child is strong, they want to push them until they cry. They want to push them until they surrender. Why? Why do that? You don't do that. So you have to take it easy. Also, don't have corporal punishment after the kids reach puberty. So some of the wise people said, ابنك ريحانتك 7 سنين. يعني he is like your flower, like your spoiled child until 7. وخادمك 7 سنين. And your servant for 7 years. يعني teach them how to serve, how to do these things until, this 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, until early teens. Teach them service. Not service as humiliation. No, service means they have to be there for others. Go get me a glass of water, get me this, do that, mow the grass with me, catch this, clean this, like that, from 8 until 14. فإن صار ابن 14 سنة, when they become 14, فإن أحسنت إليه فهو شريك. If you become nice to them, he becomes like your partner. وإن أسأت إليه فهو عدوك, and if you are dealing bad with them, they become your enemy. And that's what happens. Teenagers are rebellious. So if you are nice to them, they become friends. But if you are not nice to them, they're not. And you already spoiled them when they were young. You already taught them service, that not everything you want you're going to get, that you have to help others. So when they are like 14, they now become friends because they're already ingrained in them. So when they reach puberty, boys or girls, be easy on them. Teach the boy how to become a man, teach the girl how to become a woman. Now, talk about the riyada of الزوجة. That's for men now. Don't apply that with your husband. You say, I'm going to tame him. No, it is more from a man to a woman. It is not because a woman is bad or no, because Allah gave the man this responsibility. And it is very hard for a woman to figure it out unless the man shows her how to deal with him and how to deal with others. What is his nature? What he likes? What his likes and his dislikes, and all of that. So that's why it is preferable, and I'm saying preferable, please take it in that context, that when a man marries, he marries a virgin. He marries a woman who's not married before. Why? لأنها لم تعرف سواه. He's her first man. So we're talking about a Muslim culture, not the Western culture now, that girls, they know how to deal with men. Well, I'm not talking about sexually, I'm talking about generally. I mean, that very close to each other, to the point that they know about each other more than they should. But normally, when a man is the woman's first, so she's very emotionally invested, emotionally very aware and sensitive, and he becomes her first, like in everything. So قال بعض الحكماء البكر لك والثيب عليك. That a girl who's never married before is an asset for you. But a woman who's married before, it is against you. Against you, why? It's not because she's bad. Like, they are saying it within context, of course. Like, she cannot resist comparing you with whoever with her before. You will be compared. There is a standard already established. The first person is a standard, whether good or bad, by the way. If the woman's first husband was bad, he's a standard. So she's actually expecting that from the first one, maybe worse, maybe less. She's hoping for less or better, but she's afraid of the worst. And it will take time until the trust is there. But somebody who have never tried before, all right. So they go to the experience with hope. Yeah, they have fear, but whatever they get, and they adapt to it in a way, right? So that's what they mean, al-bikru laka thibu alayk. Also, they said, Ibn Jawzi said, it is very, very bad for a person who's old to marry someone who's very young. الشيخ الكبير طفلة صغيرة. طبعا there are exceptions. يعني the prophets and the pious and righteous. We're talking about the default, what the general. So nobody can come and say, oh, but what is this? Exception does not judge the rule. You do not judge a default rule by its exceptions. Exceptions are exceptions. They are there because they are exceptions. So you cannot say, but what about this? That's an exception. Everything has an exception, right? So she becomes like an enemy because now she expecting certain things and he's expecting certain things, and they cannot meet in the middle. And he is going to prevent her from acting young, and she cannot act old, and he cannot be young with her. So there are issues. يعني Ibn Jawzi even said that he has to compensate by spending more, by being more lenient and everything. Subhanallah, that you have to know that, they are not giving her everything, so you cannot take away from her everything. You have to compromise in the middle. طبعا Ibn Jawzi have a book called The Gray Hair, كتاب الشيب or Old Age يعني. And he says that if an older man marries a younger woman or this or that, so how they should do, what they should do. Also, it's important not for a man not to give access to all his finances to his wife. I know sisters maybe don't like that, but there is a problem. Adam alayhi salam ate from the tree because shaitan made him eat from the tree because he was prevented. And shaitan always comes from that. They say mamnu' marghoob. Whatever you prohibited or prevented from, you wanted. So the sister wants access to all her husband's secrets or her husband's hidden things. Once she have access, she's not interested. I just wanted the door to be open. I don't want you to close the door. Why? Just because. Don't put a password on your phone. Are you going to check my phone? No, I don't care about your phone, but don't put a password. So it is there when I want to see it. I can see it whenever I want. What is that? Really, what is that? From a man or a woman, yani. Like, what is that? Are we really married here? Is this really a family, or what is this? So what? If I put passwords on my phone, why you assume that I'm putting that to prevent you from seeing something bad that I'm doing? Why? I want to feel private. It's like, sometimes you talk to the sister, you said, why you put all this makeup? She said, for myself. You're lying. I'm sorry, but you're lying. I can talk to you forever about this. You are lying. Allah Azza wa Jal created you. أو من ينشأ في الحلية. You want to look good for others. You can try to convince me with whatever you want. I'll go with what Allah said. There is something internal that you want to look good. Yeah, you want to look good indoors. I understand that. But normally the default is, do you want to go out and not being noticed and not being commended? Even you want your husband to look at you and say, you're beautiful. Okay, that's for someone. Even for yourself, what is yourself? You want to look to the mirror and admire yourself. So you're not satisfied with the internal thing. You just want to look, the external, want to look good. There is a reason that you want to look good. So that is the point here. I want to look good. Okay, that's no problem. So don't say that I just want it to be open there because I want it to be open. No, you want to do it whenever you like. You want to access the phone whenever you like. You want to enter the house, or you want to open his safe whenever you like. You want to open his mail. You want to see his clothing. You want to do everything. Why is all of that? You're not in control of anybody's life. No man owns his wife, and no wife owns her man. If you like what they have and they're not doing anything haram, alhamdulillah, say alhamdulillah. If they do something haram, khalas, you have the choice to leave or work with them to change. But you cannot fix anybody. You are not assigned to fix anybody. Even Allah told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Lasta alayhim bimusaytir." You do not control. We'll go together. So لست عليهم بمسيطر. وما أكثر الناس والحرص مؤمنين. You cannot change anyone. All the people. إنك لا تهدي من أحببت. You cannot guide the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. who is sent rahmah for our alameen. Allah told him you cannot change. So you as a wife, you're not in control of your husband. You like, say alhamdulillah. You don't like, khalas. Either you have sabr or you leave. Yeah, I cannot leave and all of that. Well, khalas. But you cannot control. You're not assigned that, oh, I'm going to fix him or I'm going to fix her. There's no such a thing. No such a thing. And like this culture of now that a woman wants a man to become like a woman, but he's still a man when she wants him to be a man. Like, what is this? Is too crazy. This is so crazy. I'm not saying that you say that. Sometimes it's in the back of the head. That's the action. You see it, you'll start noticing it. Look at it and you'll start noticing it. A woman does not want a man who is strong with her. She doesn't want a man who gives orders. She doesn't want a man who fixes things. She does not want a man, fixing behavior, who is criticizing her or telling her what to do, or she takes permission from. Okay, take all of these things. Now what are you left with? Who's that guy in front of you, that human being in front of you, who's not giving you instruction, who's not trying to solve your problems, who's not telling you what is right and what is wrong, who's not giving you a plan, who's not there to defend you, who, like, he's not that strong. He doesn't have claws. He does not have fangs. He is very cool, very smooth, very nice. Yes, ma'am. And he is waiting for you and speaking softly. What is that creature there? Not even a woman, because you do not accept to do these things. You wanted to tell him no. You wanted to scream. You wanted to cry. You wanted to tell your children, give them orders. You wanted to be like a man, but he cannot be a man. عجيب هذا الأمر والله. This is so عجيب for me. يعني when I look at it, what? Like, you don't know. And I'm not saying that men are innocent. I'm giving a women class now. So that's why I'm on your case. But when I give men's class, I tell them, okay, we become abusive, become predators, we become like, coercing women. I talk to them that way too. I talk to myself that way too. So don't get me wrong. And I'm not like here, this is Sheikh Mamdouh always against women. Wallahi, this is not the case. Those who know me, you know that this is not the case. That for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, I love all my sisters in the community to be the pious, righteous woman that Allah is pleased with, that Allah is proud of. That when Allah looks and He said, this is my Amma, this is my slave servant woman here, the way I like it, she deserves Jannah. That is exactly what I'm seeing, because you are like my mother, or like my sister, or like my daughter. You have to fit one of those categories. And that's what I love for my daughters, what I love for my sisters, what I love for my wife, what I love for my mother, I love for you. So unfortunately, when women do not have that spiritual thing, that connection with Allah Azza wa Jal, you know that your best ibadah is ibadah sabr for you. Allah tests you with the sabr. And Allah tests men with shukr, to be thankful to Allah Azza wa Jal. Because they are physically struggling. Sabr is something men can have more. Right? So they need to be thankful to Allah, that Allah gives them a wife, that Allah gives them a mother for children, that she's helping and she's doing all of that. But a woman also has to know that this man needs to be a man. He needs to be strong. I need to be under him. I need to be behind him. I want him to be up there. Because when he's up there, he's pulling all of us with him. But if I humiliate him or I bring him down or, like take his manhood away from him 1 inch at a time, or 1 ounce at a time, then I'm going to be left with someone who looks like a man, like a male, but he's not a man. And I see some women come here 50, 60, 70 years old, and when the man talks, he says, shh, no, you don't know anything. Like in front of me. In front of me, and I become, and I am unhappy because the man is allowing it. But I can tell that this is the result of 30 or 40 years of marriage like that. A woman tells a man, like, shh, you don't know anything. That's a divorce right there. This is a divorce, I'm telling you. If an actual man with real blood in him, A woman tell him, shh, اسكت, like this, you cannot, خلاص, that's it. You don't have a qawama over that woman. Let her be a leader with someone else, not here. That's not abuse or aggression, but there is a red line. There is a limit there. Yeah, you can discuss, you can argue, you may raise your voice when it is acceptable. You do that, you're angry, he absorbs it, but this is not like the demeanor. This is not like the standard there that you put me down and you're up. خلاص, now يعني that's it. You know, إن البغاث بأرضنا يستنسر. You're a little sparrow, but because there are no eagles and no hawks, the sparrow become the eagle يعني. You know, stretch the small wings, thinking like they have the wings of an eagle. واستنوق البعير يعني. فده male camel became a she camel. لا, sisters, you're not like that. Wallahi, your success of being a feminine, being a female, being a woman, your strength is in your softness. You know, that's not the weakness of humility. La, that's the weakness of humbleness, the weakness of softness. This feminine characteristic is so strong and so powerful that it brings the man down automatically. Because he's harsh by nature. When he see you, the closest person to him, soft and smooth and good and absorbing and encompassing and all of that, he will come down like a child. Allahu Akbar. See the strength now? But if you go to the man by this power, one of two things. He is a weak man, so he will become down, and you do not have a man in your house. You have someone worse than a woman. Or he is going to challenge you and abuse you. So in both cases, you lose. You lose. So be careful with that, right? Don't always look to have control over his money all the time. No, make him feel that he is in control of the money. You only get what you need and you manage and you care about his money to increase and to have barakah and to have good and save for him and all of that. It's very important. Also, I advise husbands, make sure that your wife limit her interaction with other women. You'll be surprised now, I know that. Yeah. More women you will know, the more problems you will have. And I heard that from women, by the way, not necessarily my family members, yani. Not my mother or aunts or sisters and wife and my daughters. No, I hear that from many others. Sheikh, you know, women, when they sit, you cannot control. Oh, when they sit together, oh, they talk, they backbite. This one hates this one, and I hate you because you hate this one, because you like this one. This, you're not my friend. You don't. Why you talk to her about it? And all the time like this. So صلاح المرأة في التقليل من محادثة جنسها. يعني the good thing is that the woman don't have too many women friends. I'm not saying go have boyfriends. No, if you are not supposed to be talking to too many women, you're not supposed to talk to men without need, of course. Okay? Always the women are the ones who corrupt your life. And subhanallah, and I know you will not agree with me in this, there are many women, they will pretend in front of you that they have what you do not have. You go complain to her, you know, my husband is like a little bit hard and everything. Oh, sister, my husband is the softest guy in the world. My husband, and he will go beat her up when she goes home, you know? But in front of, oh, my husband is the most generous guy, you know, look at this thing. And she, subhanAllah, have been saving this for 2 years from the money behind his back. And she goes by that purse to say, oh, my husband is giving me $1,000 purse. Why? Why? Why have to do this? Because this is what sisters are like. You know, women are like in general. You know, they are always showing off with what they don't have. Or what is like that. In front of her husband, that's in Egyptian culture, in front of her husband, her family is the most generous family in the world. She does not want to give him credit. She takes from his money and she buys things. Where did you get this? Oh, my brother give it to me, or my father give it to me. That's our culture in Egypt, kind of like that. And when her husband brings us anything, like, she goes to her family, she never says, "Is my husband." She says, "You have been saving, or I've been working, or I've been doing something on the side. Oh, he's miser," and all of that kind of thing. Why? Why you have to put the man down like this? Okay. And of course, different culture have their own issues. So women show off in front of each other. Oh, my husband. Oh, your husband does that? Oh, my husband. Oh, my husband listens to me all the time. He cannot do anything without me. Now TikTok and YouTube and all that exposed all what I'm saying now, even in the American culture. Women lying about their real life a lot. طبعا a Muslim and all of that. Do not lie and do not even say the truth. You do not expose your life to anybody, period. Don't talk about how your husband dealing with. If he is making you a queen at home, keep it to yourself. You don't want the hasad of others and the evil eye of others. If he is harsh with you, keep it to yourself and ask Allah for guidance. If you want to talk to somebody professional, talk to somebody trustworthy to give you good advice. But don't share with your friends. Don't. I am telling you. Let's stop here, inshallah, for today. And hopefully, inshallah, we continue talking about some of the advices in regards to women next time, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan. Barakallah fikum. Thank you for your patience with me. When I get excited like this, I'm not accusing anybody or I'm not offending anybody. I'm actually trying my best to give you the picture of what the ulama spoke about, old and contemporary. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa baraka ala sayyidina Muhammad walhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Anybody have questions, my sister?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Mamdouh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, Sister Maryam.
I didn't have a question. I just wanted to put you at ease that, alhamdulillah, everything sounds very objective and factual, and it didn't seem like you had any bias for any of the details that you shared. Jazakallahu khair.
Barakallah fikum. I think I'm old enough now that you can accept. I'm old enough now, so I went through the experience of being young and biased, and
Sure.
always like I passed that already. So
I think for us also, we have to kind of put that aside and think very, very objectively, not to put our emotions in that. I mean, a lot of things that, with regards to parenting and being a wife, they can get in the way. But alhamdulillah, you explained it very well. Jazakallah khair.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khairan wa barakallah fikum. I make dua wallah for you all the time. For you sisters to take from your time and come here and listen. It shows how eager you are to learn, how you want to please Allah Azza wa Jal, and it actually touches my heart. And I feel obligated to be here and sit with you and talk with you. It's you do not know how much this gives boost to me spiritually. So may Allah reward you for that, and may Allah make this continue, and we benefit from it and becomes a big impact on the community, inshallah.
جزاكم الله خير شيخ.
جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
مع السلامة.
Alaikum assalam.